Okay guys, I was outside but trying to answer some questions, but the wind was really annoying on the camera, so I decided to come sit in my car instead. So, first question, what have you been doing, Joe? Why haven't you been writing to us or posting anything? Well, the time of the last video, which was, I did do my same quote sex marriage video, which was just sort of felt like I sort of should have put my opinion out there as a Catholic. So I guess 1 month last time you heard from me. So in that June 26th, I got a full-time job as a spare parts interpreter. So around that time, I was looking into doing some study or something like that, because I wanted to study personal training at just studying personal training and get my certificate as a personal trainer. So I applied for that, doing my personal training, and then I got a full-time job as a spare parts interpreter. So that was at a forklift company, and I was responsible for ordering parts in, keeping control of the stock and all that sort of stuff. So I was doing that, and then I got my application was like, yeah, sure, you can come and study to be a personal trainer. And I was like, okay, fine, that's fair enough. I'll do my full-time job, and then on the weekends I can do every 2 weeks. I could do my personal training course, and because it was a weekend, it was every 2 weeks, I think, and because it crossed over on a Sunday, and because I go to church on Sunday, and I was just like, well, I don't really want to do something that inflicts with, church and all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just can it and don't worry about it. And as I started going through the job as a spare parts interpreter, I guess I didn't really like it. It wasn't sort of my thing, because I did have an apprenticeship as a mechanic last year, and just was not my thing. When I first started it, I loved it, and I'm sort of going on a tangent here, but just stay with me, because it all ties in together at the end. So I went down the road, I guess, of the tradesman, which, if you want to be a tradesman, you be a tradesman. It just wasn't for me personally. So I got I was like, I was looking for an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship's easy because, well, no, it's not easy per se, but you're getting paid as you're training, or sort of, if that makes sense. So I applied for a mechanical apprenticeship last year, got accepted, went to trade school, was getting paid for it, and I loved it. I was like, I think this is my thing, this is my calling. And trade school, I loved it. I learned so much. And then when I got out into the industry of the automotive industry, it was just, I'm not that bad in the automotive industry, but for me personally, it was just really depressing. Like, I was just like, oh, like, okay, so this is what it is. And it's sort of like, it weighed like so much for me, and I was like, you know what, I'll just like get up and go to work every day, because I have like nothing else, like, because I have like nothing, like, I got to start making a living. And then it just sort of didn't work out. I did have a job at this one place, and I loved it. The people there was amazing. I was like, you know what, I'd love to work at this place. It was a very family oriented place. They were wonderful, but then they couldn't afford to keep an apprentice, so they let me go. And I thought that sort of was just like, yeah, I don't think this is the thing for me. And then I got another job at this other place, and the boss he was horrible. He was so bad. He was swearing at me and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna bother with it. I'm done with being a mechanic. If there is any mechanics out there, I'm not dissing you, because you make a lot of money by fixing people's cars. No, well, I'm not dissing if there is any mechanics out there, I'm not dissing you. It just personally was not for me. But then I think what made it more concrete that, okay, I don't want to be a mechanic was I had some work experience at the start of the year at this. I would keep in touch with this guy who was I made a good friendship with one of the guys at when I worked at the mechanic trade school, and he just said, you know what, I got this work experience at this performance center, like this, you know, this car performance center. If you want to have a go at it, yeah, you can have a go at it. And I was like, yeah, awesome. Like this is like every mechanic's dream to work at like a performance center. Like this place was like putting turbos on cars. This place was, you know, doing engines and everything. Like they were rebuilding engines and doing like everything like a mechanic dreamed of. Like I remember when we first went to trade school, they're like, don't expect to be tuning cars and putting turbos in because you're not going to be doing that. And then I got a work experience position at this place which does performance engineering cars and that sort of stuff, like does dragsters and all this sort of stuff. And I think, and I got into it, and I just didn't enjoy it. Like it sounds so silly. Like who would not want to put a turbo on a car? Like I had 2 days work experience there, and I was just terrible at it. Like I just could not take any interest in it. Like it was cool to see like how a turbo goes on a car and like watching the dyno and all this sort of stuff, but it just did not like resonate with me. But just being in the workshop environment of being a mechanic just was not my thing. So anyway, that's why I applied to do personal training, because I've wanted to do it for so long. You have no idea how long I've wanted to do personal training for, guys, for years. But I thought that you could never ever, you know, make a substantial living off being a personal trainer. So that's why I applied for the spare parts interpreter, because I was like, you know what, I've had experience being a mechanic, I know what like parts are, etc, etc, so I'll just apply there. So I got the job, and you know, I was on a reasonable amount of money. Like I wasn't saying I was on like, for my age, I was on a pretty good amount of money. You know, it was good, but it made me very complacent. Now, if anyone's a spare parts interpreter out there, not dissing you, personally just was not for me. But it made me very complacent with my training, and it started to really affect my health because I was at a desk all day, not dissing any desk job workers. I was just at a desk all day, but the main problem was that, you know, I was using like this old school screen, and I was very hunched over, and I was getting migraines. Like I was going home where I couldn't even look at my phone because my head was so sore and everything. So I am connecting this all up, so just bear with me. So it was good, but I found I was getting very complacent with life. I was not challenging myself. I was sort of just going like living week to week, like just living week to week, I guess, like that. So, and it really strained on my health like a lot. And then, yeah, I got accepted to do my personal training course, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it because, you know, I'm doing full time. And then 6 weeks time, they pulled me into the office and said, you know what, you know, we don't want you anymore. They didn't say that, but just paraphrasing sort of thing. Well, not paraphrasing, just making up in my, well, they just said they just fired me. So they gave me the sack. And, in hindsight, I'm very glad they did that. So thank you to the people who fired me. Thank you very much. First thing I did when it was heartbreaking because like it isn't very nice to get the sack. But the first thing I did, I rang up and said, you know what, I rang up and said, you know what, I want to do my personal training course now. they're like, sure thing. They were 4 weeks into the course, and they're like, you know what, just jump in and all that sort of stuff. So for the past 6 weeks, yeah, I've been, I think 6 weeks, 8 weeks, no, I think 7 weeks. Last 7 weeks I've been studying certificate 3 and 4 in personal training, and I absolutely love it. In hindsight, I was going to study personal training anyway, either if I did get that full-time job or not. I guess the benefit is that I made a fair bit of money in that time I was working at being a spare parts interpreter. But other than that, I absolutely love my course so much. You know, I'm on 2 weeks holiday now, so for 2 weeks we're going to be smashing out some good content. The things that I've been learning is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. And also, I think 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I got a part-time job. So I'm contracted to work 12 hours a week, which is good. So not only that, I have, I'm studying and I'm like getting 12 hours a week at the job that I'm working, which is in retail, which, you know, I don't mind. It's 12 hours and it gives me some money to save and all that sort of stuff. This whole experience has showed me that God will not let me do something that isn't His will. Because when I dropped that personal training course, I got fired from this as a spare parts interpreter. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I've drawn from this, is that by doing God's will and what I'm created for, you know, I'm feeling like a sense of purpose. Like, it wasn't, you sort of can't put a description on it, that like every day is like, I don't know, it feels like, you know, I'm actually getting somewhere, and now I can focus more on my training now. And I'm in an environment where I'm learning things that is going to help me get to the AFL. So I'm not ditching the AFL idea at all. I'm not saying that at all. That is the goal. That is what this YouTube channel is aiming for. I'm just saying at the same time, there is steps to get me there, and being a personal trainer is going to not only help me, but I can share information to help you guys. And also I can do something that I'm really passionate about. Like, I love fitness, I love training. And I do want to help you guys. I want to, like, the things that I've been learning is like amazing. Because like, you see a lot of people these days on the internet that say, you know what, personal trainers don't know anything. But to be honest, you learn a fair bit of stuff being in the course. Like, I've learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know before. Like, I was just, I guess, you know, you just go on YouTube and type in build muscle program, and you just know that sort of stuff. Like, you know the basics of like what exercises build what muscle, but you sort of learn, like, when I've been doing this course, like how you can critique things, how you can work smarter rather than harder, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's this amazing thing. So that is what I've been doing. I'm so sorry, like, I'm actually genuinely sorry that I haven't been posting videos, because I've wanted to, like, I've been wanting to actually speak to you guys, but it's just hard to know what to do, if that makes sense. But no more excuses. We are out here, we are making a video, and yeah, so it's going to be very fun, you know, it's going to be very fun to be able to make some videos again and reconnect with you guys, and just, you know, tell me what's up. I want to know what have you guys been doing in the past 3 months. Have you missed me? Have you not missed me? But there is so much more hard work I need to do. So, you know, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go home, have a bite to eat, and then I'm going to go kick